Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Glassman's world. So, I'm about to get started here making more Super Mario mushrooms, guys. It looks like they are a hit, and I've pretty much sold out on all of them that I made. I do have several of the first ones, though, that I made because I kept the original ones. So I do have the very first ones around my neck here. So I got those two made of those two I'm keeping. The original red and the original one up green. I've made two green ones so far, I believe. And the other green one already sold. And yesterday I pretty much sold out on all the mushrooms, so I had to make more. So I've got three more here. They all look really similar. And it's very close. These are very close to the size that I'm going for. So check it out. We got three more little Super Mario pendants, guys. So I figured no one else is making these right now. I don't know anyone who's putting Mario mushrooms inside of pendants like this, as clean as I'm doing them. This one actually didn't come out as clean as I would like. That one right there. I don't know if you can see all the air bubble, all that stuff trapped in there. See that? I should have cleaned up that rod before I wrapped it around. And that was my bad. I should have really cleaned that up first. So that one's probably going to be discounted, or I may even actually just gift that one to our son. But yeah, we got these new Super Mario mushrooms, very similar or close to the size that I want to get them at. So that's the size that I'm trying to go for. So I got to try to go a little bit smaller and make it happen. All right, so we got three more ready to go. Oh, and let me show you this here. This is a cool little candy lollipop right there. If you know, you know, right? But that's cool, huh? For those of you who like the candy, I'm going to be making more of these. I'm like, all right, I can at least make those kind of accessories. I got out of the smoking accessories paraphernalia game a while ago because I can't really, I can't make too many pieces like I used to. So I was like, well, I'm just not going to do it anymore. And I can make some other pieces, though. I can definitely make like nectar collectors, you know, the straws and other different items and things like that. But let's get started here. Let's get this torch on and let's get to work. Oh, and I don't know if you've seen, got a cute little Santa here. Got me a new Santa. Check it out. Isn't that cool? I got that from our friend at Polite Smoke Shop. Locally here, I think they're like $6. She hooked me up because I hooked her up with some glass, and so she was like, here, just take it. So I promote it. This is over at Polite Smoke Shop, San Mateo, just north of Lomas. Go check out Polite. She's got some awesome Christmas deals. I highly recommend checking out Polite Smoke Shop. All right, so let's get him back over here by the Christmas tree on the dab podiums here. And let's get to work. So I had a good weekend. Did a couple vending events. Vended on Friday. Did pretty well. And then on Saturday or Sunday, yesterday, we were out for our new the Curious Sunday Market, which is a new market for us. We were set up every Sunday in Nob Hill and the Nob Hill East Market, and that was abruptly shut down on us And fortunately, gratefully, thankfully, our new friend over at Curious Toast, Victoria, invited us to come in. So thank you so much, Victoria. Really appreciate you inviting us to come in and hosting us there. This will be my 4th week that I've been there. It's the 3rd week for all of us as far as a collective. But I went to check it out that first weekend on my own. So I've been out there for 4 weeks, for a whole month now. And it's been working out pretty well. You gotta make sure all these tops spin well. I wonder if I could do this trick still. I used to be able to spin it and balance it. That's hard. Alright, whatever. I'm gonna lose it. Alright, well, we got some spinning tops ready to go as well. More spinning tops. Someone asked me to make the teal or the peacock blue, so we made more of those. So now those are available and ready to go. And I may make a few more with the lighter blue. That's the darker, and I don't know if that's the peacock or if this is peacock. That could be aqua azul, actually. I think this is the peacock, and that's the aqua azul. So we should probably bring that color in and make some spinning tops. And we're gonna make some more Super Marios. Maybe I'll make a few spinning tops real quick just to make sure that the kiln is up to temperature, and also we can shorten this rod down some so it's a little bit more lighter and easier to handle. So we'll just make a few quick spinning tops here. Alright, if you'd like to time me on these, you're welcome to do so. These take me roughly 5 minutes or less. And I sell them for $5. So sometimes, I make things that takes me 2.5 minutes and I sell them for $5. And then like these here, they take 5 minutes. I still sell them for $5. $1 a minute, not bad. I can't complain about that. But that's 30 years of being able to get into this flow and being able to make things, being able to pull them off, all the time without making too many mistakes. As you've seen, one of those Super Mario mushrooms, I should have cleaned off the clear glass and it came out bad. And I've got some mistakes there. Alright, real quick tutorial. Making the spinning tops, you basically gather glass like we always do. One of the first steps you have to learn is gathering the glass. Form a little bit of a marble on the tip here. Pretty much once it gets to like a millimeter bigger on all the way around. So you'll see it's thicker on the top, thicker on the bottom compared to the rod. So that's when the roundness goes from about a 16 millimeter to like 17 or 18 millimeter. And then you want to smash it down, making sure to spin it and paying attention to how thick the sides are, because you can push it and have this side over too much or have this side over too much. It could be, instead of being centered, it could be like way offset, Alright, then we got to add the color. And we get this in the center as best we can. And that's the trick on making sure that they spin well, is putting that dot in the center there. And if you don't get it in the center, there are little tricks and ways to kind of push it over and to re-center it. See, right now I'm seeing that there's one spot that's a little higher than the rest. So bring that down some. So I use my paddle to just push over a little bit on one side and get it to center a little bit better there. And then we punchy it up. And as I'm making these spinning tops, it allows the kiln to get up to temperature as well. So I'm shortening the rod here and getting the kiln up to temperature. And also getting myself a little bit warmed up before jumping directly into the Super Mario. Although I think with the practice that I've had with my Amanita mushrooms for the last 2 years, I think that just that alone has allowed me to pull these Super Mario mushrooms out without any issues. You know, had I kept that one clean and made sure the clear glass was clean and spent a little time on that, it would have come out really nice. That's the only mistake that I really have made. There was one mushroom that was elongated, and that was the second one I ever made. I have that one right here I can show you. So the elongated one, the mushroom cap just got pulled upward a little bit. It's not rounded, but it's still nice. It still looks great. And I set it to the side. I'm not sure why. It's the second one I ever made. And it's just a little bit elongated. And then the one that I feel is like the most perfected one, I also kept. So I have two around my neck. I have that elongated one, and then this is the perfected one. So that way I have a template, an example of what I'm shooting for. So I can try to make them that small all the time. And that's the hard thing, is getting the details on them with the eyes. It is so hard to do that. Alright, then we just round that up. We get it all nice and shaped. And there's a nice spinning top right there. And we can't test it out till after it's out of the kiln. I've been putting these in the kiln lately. I know in recent or previous videos, I just make them and put them on the table, but I figured if the kiln's on, they should just go in the kiln with the rest of the glass. Sometimes I don't turn the kiln on when I'm making production work. Alright, we'll make a few more of these here. I'll wait for a few people to come in and start watching as well. And then we'll get started on a few more of the Super Mario mushrooms. I don't know if you guys have seen the short that I made, but I was able to use the theme song to Super Mario. It's one of the songs that you can choose when you're creating a short. And I believe I've got at least a few hundred, if not a few thousand views already on that. Also, those of you who are watching, if you're planning on ordering any Gardenia glass, just know that everything is buy one, get one free right now until the end of the year, till 2026. So I'm not putting up any signs when I'm posting up or anything. I'm just letting you guys know. So those of you who watch my videos, those of you who follow me, and are on all the different social media that I have as well, like Facebook, Insta, Twitter, or X. If you're on any of those and you see my posts and you order anything, you just let me know, hey, I'd like to get that buy one, get one free deal. And I will honor that for you. So this is exclusive to those of you who are watching and following my videos and all my other posts and things. All my supporters, thank you so much. I usually do this at the end of the year, every year, and do a nice buy one, get one free deal, some kind of special for the holidays, end of the year. Nice big thank you for all your support. So yesterday was pretty cold out here in Albuquerque. It was freezing when we were setting up. I got there about 8 o'clock in the morning to the Curious Sunday Market. And they open the Curious Toast is our host. The Curious Toast. And they open at 8 a.m. for breakfast. They stay open till 3 p.m. And so our market is set up to run from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. And we're basically setting up at 8 a.m. when they're opening, and we start tearing down right at 3 p.m. So some of us are actually out there till about 4, slowly breaking down. So if you want to come out, we may be there till about 4 p.m. And we've also talked about hanging out on Sundays a little bit longer because there's a lot of individuals that come out with the Sunday cruise, all the lowriders and everything. And all I need to do is just figure out some kind of merch that'll go along the lines of that sort of crowd with the lowriders and things. And I got a few ideas I've been thinking about. And then the other thing too is like when you offer and promote sports colors, sports team colors, and you can tell people, oh, you like that? Well, I can make it in your team, you know? You like the Raiders, you like the Cowboys, you like the Broncos, who's your team? I don't have a team. I watch football sometimes and I just watch it for the sport, for the game. I watch it for the plays. And I just root for good plays. Like, it does not matter on who's winning or who's losing. If someone has a good catch, a good throw, a good hit, good tackle, a good run, you know, a good kick, a long field goal, a long punt, you know, just anything like that. I just love watching it for the game, you know. And it makes it a lot funner, I think, because then I'm not invested in one side, and I don't get like all let down if like, oh no, my team fumbled, or oh no, they intercepted it from us, or like it's so much funner to just watch the sport as a sport instead of just being a fanatic about it. Pretty cool. But yeah, I can make sports colors. Make hot air balloons with your different sport teams. Ooh, that's hot already. I'm gonna bring it down some. Alright, we'll probably make like 5 of these real quick. And then we'll get into the Super Marios here. And one thing though that I realized here is I may not be able to make too many more because I'm about to run out of my white and I need to go re-up and get some more colors here pretty soon. But rent is due. It's the 1st, right? Is it the 1st? It could be. I believe it's Monday, December 1st, guys. Welcome to December, the last month of the year. Can you believe that we're almost into 2026? At the end of this month, I get to celebrate my sobriety birthday. The end of the month, the beginning of the year, however you want to look at it. That's coming up, guys. All right. So I lost track. I don't know if I've already celebrated 10 years of not drinking alcohol. When I say my sobriety, it's my not drinking of alcohol, but I don't really partake in anything else. And cannabis to me is a medicine. It's a medicinal herb. It comes from Creator, from God created. It's the season blessing, the morning dew. It's God's gift to man for us to use as food, for meat. Even the Bible says it in Genesis 1:12 and talks about all the seed-bearing plants and herbs for us to use as meat. And he saw it was good. And I saw it was good too. And I thought it tasted pretty good. Oh, this one went on a little bit crooked there. We're going to have to push this one over some. Where's the high spot? Right there. So what I do is I get it hot and molten, and then I get that high spot and push it down. And then we check it again and see how centered that is, and then push it a little bit over more and center it some more and center it some more. That one looks pretty good. It's a little bit high on one side. Just barely. All right, what is this, the third one, the fourth one? We're getting close, and then we'll make these Super Marios here. I'm gonna get this on point a little bit better. It's a little crooked. And it's gonna melt it down. Get it nice and rounded on the end here. So this is a scrap piece of tubing, a blow tube. So it's hollow, but then it's solid on that tip. Yeah. I only did the preload or the pre-wash. I haven't actually run it. Can you put a whole scoop of the white and run it just normal? Thank you. Gotta get some laundry done here today, guys. So, like I said, we got a couple more here. This is maybe the fourth one, and then maybe one more, if I'm not mistaken. And I forgot to time that first one, so I hope you guys kept that timer going. We can try to time the last one here coming up. And see, are these taking 5 minutes or less? And hopefully not more. Hopefully we're keeping it at $1 a minute, which is, you know, it's a pretty good wage, and it covers the supplies, the costs, you know, the material costs, the glass, the oxygen, the propane, the electricity for the kiln, you know. Every time I gotta take into consideration on all things, the fan running constantly pulling all the cold or all the hot air out of our home here. So we gotta make sure I'm also compensating for keeping it warm as I'm sucking all the warm air out. But we always have a nice clean exchange of air, which is nice. You know, you go into some homes and you can actually tell that they don't have any free flowing air. The windows are all closed up, the doors have been shut up, and it's a lot of like dust, and you can tell the difference. But yeah, I keep the fan on pretty much constantly. Even when I'm not working, constantly have it blowing. Oh, you know what? That's number 3. We got 2 more to go. All right, timer. 27 minutes in. Okay, so that's 3. In what? These can't be taking 10 minutes. 3 and 30 minutes. That's not right. All right. It's already 28, so we were like maybe just barely. All right, but I counted it at 27, so we'll see. I guess we also did a lot of talking before we actually got into working, so definitely not 10 minutes each on these. But we'll see. We're a minute in right now. All right, where are we at? 30. 3 minutes in. Hello and good morning again. We're on a timer here. Started at 27 minutes in. We're now 30 minutes in. Seeing if I can get these down. They better be at least 5 minutes or less. And I think we got them at 5 minutes or less. $31. So we're 4 minutes in. So yeah, these are barely just being made within 5 minutes. All right. We got one more to go, and then we're gonna make the Super Mario mushrooms here. All right, and 32. So that's 5 minutes. And it basically, when we started it changed from 27 to 28. So I don't know exactly how much, but within 5 minutes right there. That's how quick I can get these made. All right, let's do one more. Should we wait for the timer? Once it gets to 33. So good morning, see True Indica's here, and ANCAP. Yo, ANCAP. Well, we were watching your video the other day. You were live with the fire, and I asked you if you were in Nob Hill, and you were like, we're not going to reveal information like that anymore. I recognize those metal sculptures, those statues that were right there. I'm waiting for 33. Once it changes to 33 minutes, we're going to start. But I recognize that, and I was like, that looks familiar. I don't know what it is. Turns out that place that burnt down is Joe's Place Cararo's Pizza that we used to perform there, and we used to hang out there all the time. It's 33. We're getting started. And years ago, and it used to be one of our hangout spots we'd go to all the time. I used to actually help Santa Fe Brewery with delivering kegs before they even, like when they first got started. My friend was the sales rep for Albuquerque, and she would take samples into all the different places, and that was one of them. And I got to go in there when she was doing the testing and everything, and then they decided to go with Santa Fe Brewing. And at the time, they didn't even have their own vans and anything to deliver. So I personally used my Volvo, my hatchback, and we would drive all the way up to Santa Fe and grab a few kegs and then bring them down to different places. And that's how it got started down here in Albuquerque. My friend Story Byers was the seller. And yeah, a lot of memories. So we got to take in the beer there. They had a lot of pool tables, so we used to play pool all the time. And man, we would have some of the most amazing games there with my friend Christian and with our friend Ryan. And man, and these are the cats that, like, if you playing with them, you don't want them to ever take a shot, or they're gonna run the table and knock that 8-ball in. So you gotta be the one to do that. These guys are some fun cats to play. And then our friend Ken, who was the manager there, I believe partial owner as well. He actually ended up getting gunned down, I believe, by the police. Is that what happened? And there was a lot of hush hush on that. And you may have even heard about that, and Cap, because you do Cop Watch too. And so yeah, that had to do with Ken. Ken Reese used to be connected to that, and the fire burnt down right there. And it's interesting though that a lot of these places are just randomly burning down. I wonder if the city's going to come in and just swoop it up. I don't know who the owner is, and I don't know what the plans were for that place. I know it's been shut down pretty much since that ordeal with Ken. But yeah, that was a sad thing. And you know what was also so crazy is that my wife's mom, she was literally living right there when that happened. Her vehicle almost got hit by the bullets, or maybe it did. It did actually. I think her sister was there at her mom's, and the car got hit, and their car had to be part of that investigation, and we had to clean the vehicle off because he, yeah, he got hit right there, but the bullets, and not not cool. That was a crazy situation. We were all involved in that. But yeah, I knew I recognized those statues, those sculptures, but I didn't know specifically where you were. I had no idea that it was right there. My friend used to live in front of that, and at that house that you were standing at, the one just like right next door. We used to do all kinds of cool poetry readings and potlucks and stuff in that home right next door. Either one or two. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I'm like, was it the one directly next door? But yeah, I appreciate you being out there and videoing and showing things like that that's happening in Albuquerque. You know, we got to definitely keep tabs on all that stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff there, and I realized what happened the next day. I'm like, oh dang, that's what we were watching burn down. Our old spot, our old hangout. That place was cool, man. We used to play pool all the time, and then they had the pizza there. The Joe's place, Carraro's Pizza. So I don't remember how it was. Was it pizza in the front? Carraro's Pizza in the front, so anyone could go in there. You could bring your family. It'd be a little dining experience, and you could also, if you're 21 and over, you could purchase beer, wine, I guess, drinks, cocktails, and then in the back, you'd go through the little side area, and they would ID you, check your ID, and then you go into the bar there, which was Joe's place, and then Carraro's Pizza in the front. Lots of good times and memories there. And then a lot of times that I don't remember at all. That was in my drinking days, and I haven't drank, like I said, in about 10 years, maybe 11. I've lost track. And so this coming New Year's, I got to remember or find out. I just got to look onto my Facebook memories, I guess, and then be like, oh, it's my 10th year, or it's my 11th year this year, because I've lost track. And I think that's awesome that I've lost track of how many years I've stepped away from the bottle. And now I can afford to go out and eat the real fancy, the good plates if I want to. Except these days we're like trying to skim by after my wife lost her disability, and her income, it's been kind of, we can't really afford that right now. Good thing I'm not drinking, or we'd be fucking in the hole. All right, that's number 5, and I lost track, and that took a lot longer because I started talking about Joe's Place and Carraro's Pizza. All right. Business in the front, party in the back. It was a mullet. And a pizza mullet. That's funny. All right. So we're going to try to do a couple of Super Marios here. The issue, though, is that I may only have this much white left. I got to look around here for a sec and just see if I've got any sticks of white. No, that's ghost. I don't need ghost. I need white. This white. There's a baby chunk of white. Can use that. And hopefully that's not glow in the dark. Let's make sure that's not glow. We're going to put it under the light here. Just double check it. Nope, that doesn't glow. Alright, so that's white. See if we got any other white. What's this? That's some sort of a white. That's like a creamy white. It's dirty. That thing is old. Look at that. Got all kinds of crusties on it and stuff. You have to clean that thing off. It's got lint or fuzz on there. You can tell I haven't picked up that piece of glass in a while. Oh yeah, and then I found another stick of white right there. Okay, we're in business. All right, party two. We got the party in the back. Party in the back. Business in the front. That's funny. All right, we're gonna party back here behind the camera. Party in the back. Business in the front. That's cool. I'm going to use that. Okay. So the trick is we got to make a stringer here. And a stringer is basically just getting your stick of color or whatever, and we're going to pull it thinner than what it is. But we're not going to make it an actual stringer like a hair-like kind of thin piece. We're just going to pull it thin. Maybe like 3 or 4 millimeters. Something like that. And I got a little bit of time this morning till about noonish, and then I got to go to my clients. I may have to leave a little bit earlier than that to go run an errand for her, though. She's one of my clients that I kind of help with caregiving services. And I basically just go in, I help her do some simple chores within the house, you know, whatever she needs me to do. House cleaning and running errands and doing simple tasks and things. Most of the time I'm doing yard work, or I do car detailing on the side. All right, so I'm trying to just get the very end pulled. That looks good to me. So now you can see the difference in thickness there from where it started at the end here and then pulling it down there. And being able to pull it nice and straight like that, that's, you know, that takes a little bit of practice, experience. You can see there's a little bit of some bumpiness to it, but It works. We're going to make it work. I'm going to try to just flatten this down just a little bit here. Just use the paddle and roll it. Going to add the eyes. Let's see where that other piece of white is. We got this pre-pulled piece of white also that we use for the sparkle in the eyes, or the reflection in the eyes. That's one of the hardest things to do. I'm trying to do it with just by feel and practice. I don't even know who Steve ABQ is. But that's dumb. And yeah, everyone's got their own opinions as to what and who they like and stuff, and who they prefer. For me, like I was saying with football earlier, I don't have a team. I watch it for the game. And I like to see the different plays that each team has, and whether or not one of the teams forces another one to fumble, or they intercept, or just anything like that. I just think it's cool to watch it for the game. So I've never invested like on one side, and I'm like, I get sad or depressed or angry or aggressive or like nothing if my team loses, because I don't have a team. And that's kind of how I deal with politics. I like to see what they do, because it works out for us in all ways, because we are a democratic republic, right? Like it's interesting how we are set up. And so, we got to have both sides of the spectrum, I guess. And the puppets, the puppets that are in play and power, they're just puppets. And they got orders to follow. And right now I understand that we're within the Great Reset. And so there's individuals that they have placed into the positions of power, so they can do certain things that was planned out. Like, it doesn't matter who's in there. These certain things just need to be done. It's like what was carved in stone in the Georgia Guidestones. For 42 years, they had the manifesto. They have the new 10 Commandments there, set in stone. They talk about how Moses came down and from Mount Sinai, and he had then he carved the 10 Commandments, and he had to do them again or whatever. Well, we have a new set of 10 Commandments that have been posted up for 42 years until they took them out. They used the directed energy device, or directed energy weapon, and they took it out. A laser came through and took it out. Once that happened, it was like their directive has been set for 42 years. And if you understand the number 42 and the levels within masonry and things like that, 42 years, they removed their manifesto, or their new 10 Commandments that have been carved in stone for everyone to see and learn and to know about and to be prepared for. It was written in all the different languages in the world for everyone, all countries, to be able to know and to understand what was coming and is coming. And as soon as they took it out, it was like that's when the plan went into effect. And then COVID hit, and all this other stuff's been going on, and all these things, and now it's the whole divide and conquer game still, continuously, where they're going to continue to divide and conquer us, and make sure that we never, ever come together within a democratic republic. We're never going to be able to see eye to eye, because they have figured out how to divide. They've been able to divide it in such a way that now there's teams, and if your team doesn't win the Super Bowl, or the political Super Bowl, then everyone gets all mad. But if you go into watching sports just for the game itself, or you go into watching politics just for the game itself because it's just a game, right now you would understand Agenda 2021 has already been completed. That was for the year 2021, right? Agenda 2030 is where we're in right now. Our own governor has been talking about the 30-30 plan, right? Where we have 30% emissions by the year 2030. And there's all kinds of weird stuff going on along Central and Route 66 and all these fires and all these places that are getting acquired by the city and especially by the state fair, and how it's going to be converted to the next 15-minute smart grid city that we're going to introduce to the world here very soon. And also LA has their smart grid city, which will be introduced by 2028, and just in time for the Olympics, which will then introduce their smart grid city on a world platform. And Japan's already there. And there's a lot going on. Maui will have their Jump Smart Maui project city built up soon. A lot of places in California that got burnt down will also have them. And so we're just, instead of them burning our place down with fires and stuff horribly, like they did with Lahaina or, Paradise City or, just the whole LA fires recently and all kinds of stuff like that. They basically have taken control of what's going on with the situation on the streets and not policing. I remember back in the day when I was in high school, in the 90s, and we would always talk about stay away from Central. That's where all the cops are, right? You don't want to be driving up and down Central because then you might just get pulled over because there's so many cops on Central. And somehow, somewhere at some time, all the cops just went away, So they have directives and orders, they have to follow their rules and regulations from their chief in command, their commanding officer, their captain, right? My sister's an officer in California, so I understand a lot of how these things work, and they have to basically get briefed or debriefed every morning, and this is what they have to focus in on. These are the things that they want to, number one, number two, number three. They got to focus in on this or that. There might be a real high profile criminal that they're targeting or something like that, and just different things. And I don't know. There's just so many people are just following orders, and a lot of these things are happening. And a lot of these individuals who are part of just following orders don't really know that these things are actually like happening on purpose in order to take over. Basically it's a land grab. It's been a lab grab. I mean, even with the Chicago fires and the Peshtigo fire back in the day, all of it. It's just a big old land grab. And a water grab too right now. That's the other thing. They're stealing our water without us realizing it. And taking our land from underneath us. They're coming into the reservations too. And they're going to take all the reserves, all the reservations, because they have this new law. The World Economic Forum and the UN and the CDC and the WHO, they've all come together and decided that if there are places that are going to be deemed unfit to live, right, that they can come in and basically choose and decide that that is unfit to live, and then they take it over, like through FEMA and all this stuff, Like there's so many people who've signed their property rights away, their homes away, by simply taking that $750 one-time check from FEMA. In all of these disasters since like Katrina, which, we're learning of weather manipulation. It's probably been going on since the 50s and for a long time. They spoke about how they were able to to do that in Vietnam. So, if people are just barely waking up to these things, well, I'm sorry to be the first one to introduce you to the crazy stuff. It's why I'm not monetized, because I like to be able to talk about these things. I don't make money off of any of this stuff. I just try to share. Like I said the other day, I'm all about open source and sharing knowledge and getting people on the same level at the same time. If everything was open source, we wouldn't have people lagging behind, because we'd all be learning at that same rate, the same pace. I mean, of course, we're going to have babies, right? And they're not going to be able to learn at the same level as, like, a college uh, student or someone like that, or someone else who's practicing medicine or things like that. But, if you understand what I mean, we can all learn pretty much at that same rate, and we can get all of humanity to basically expand our knowledge and our minds all together at once, instead of trying to suppress those who don't have the same knowledge and become more powerful or overpower them. And I'm way off topic because we're talking about Super Mario here. But yeah, it's crazy. And the whole divide and conquer thing, and whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump, whether you like anyone who was in office, just realize that they're all placed there and put there. And it's possible that the last real true people's president was John F. Kennedy, and ever since then, everyone else has been pretty much planted there. You choose the lesser of the two evils. Which evil would you prefer? Or do you prefer no evil at all? So I don't choose a team. I learned to just understand that this is a game, just like football. The Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Ball. But yeah, so I don't know who that guy is. Steve ABQ, but I'll check him out sometime now and see what he's got to say. It's interesting to see when people choose sides and pick teams like that. And I'm just like, my team's gonna be with Creator all day, no matter what. You guys have fun with all the political battles. I choose my battles wisely. But I like to have a really good, awesome debate about things all the time. I'll debate anyone. I'm a master debater. I'll even like jump sides just to debate, because I understand the points on different sides. I can understand both views, both angles, all three angles, all five angles. Those from the outside looking in angles, lots of different angles. And that's how I watch my sports and my politics. It's all the same to me. And it's all to keep you distracted and divided and conquered. And I choose not to be conquered. And I choose to be artistic and full of artistic expression and full of the true meaning of freedom of speech and expression. And I won't cut anyone off. I will never ban you for your own opinions here. I will allow you to have your soapbox here and say everything that you want to say. Let it all out. Let it be known. I am not your judge. And I'm never going to be on jury duty. So I'm not the judge. I'm not the jury. Definitely not the executioner. But I like to be a co-creator. Yeah, open source is the best. It's good. Yeah, and colleges are extremely expensive because of government. And it's a great way to keep people distracted and thinking that they're going to get the best education from someone who's simply just going to a book and just giving you the knowledge from a book. If you've learned to read, you can just obtain all that knowledge, you know? There is so much medical knowledge that I've obtained in the last few years because of COVID. Thank you so much, COVID. I really appreciate you. I have the gratitude for COVID, even though it's taken so many people's lives and so many just families and friendships just broken and everyone divided and everything. I find the gratitude and the silver lining in that I've learned so much medical knowledge. I've done so much medical research that I've I've just expanded my own knowledge, my own self, and thank you, COVID. See, I can choose all the different sides. I can see how COVID was a blessing. I can see how COVID was created by Creator in order to do what needs to be done, which is create, in order to create rebirth or renew. It's how creation works. Creator doesn't believe in good or bad. Creator isn't good or bad, not angry, doesn't give a rat's ass about any of us. We are living within how it is, and so shall it be, you know? As it is, so shall it be. It's just the way that things are and the way things work. And once you understand that, you can navigate. You can become like water and flow like water, or you can drown in it, right? You can become too aloof and float on top of it and get stuck in the currents, or get stuck in the whirlpools and never go anywhere. Or you can be in the flow with it, with Creator, with water, with nature, with it all. And then realize that humans are a part of nature. And then you can become also connected with all and realize that we're all connected, we're all brothers and sisters, and we don't need to be fighting over politics, because these are just simple reindeer games, right? That they didn't let Rudolph play. They didn't let him join in any reindeer games. He's so worried and concerned with that when he had a bigger duty and obligation to fulfill. He had to be the illuminator. He had to be the light. A whole different take on Rudolph when you think of it in those ways. Here we go. Push it in. But I like to philosophize about things, and like I said, I like to debate on all points and views, you know? I can see how COVID was a blessing and definitely a curse. You know, all things are medicine, all things are poison. It's all a matter of the intention and the amount, you know? All things are poison, all things are medicine. Water is life, but sometimes water is strife. You know, you can drown in water. The floods can take you and your home away entirely, right? You can freeze in ice, being too cold in a windstorm when you're wet, you know? Water can be deadly and brutal. But water is also life, but it can also take it as well. Just like fire. Fire can keep you warm, right? Keep you warm and cozy, can cook for you, can provide for you, but it can burn you down. You know, these are the things that we have to learn when we're navigating with nature, because we are a part of nature. You learn to respect these things. You understand the positive and the negative of certain things. It's not good or bad, it's just positive or negative. It's a current, it's an energy. You know, like when you think of electricity, there's two wires for it to flow. You got the input, the output. You got to always have it. And sometimes it's grounded, right? Should be grounded. But that's the conduit, the polarity, the politics of energy. The coming and the going, the yin and the yang, the democratic, the republic, the black and the white, the red and the yellow, the blue and the green. And now I'm just putting colors together and it means nothing at all. The pumpkin and the turquoise. And maybe it means all kinds of things. The red, white, and the blue. The royal purple and gold. All right, so I'm completely off track, and we went on a cool tangent because of Cararo's place burning down, and some guy named ABQ, Steve? But I'm sorry he's harassing you, that sucks. I've had a lot of people harass me, try to find me. A lot of, I'm known globally. And some people decided they just don't like me. But I just gotta keep on believing in Creator and knowing that what I'm doing is good, it's positive, wholesome. And you can't always expect everyone to like you and everyone to support you and everyone to have the same viewpoint that you do. And that's what makes this world a beautiful mixing pot of just everything and everyone, completely eclectic and just so diverse in that way. You know, imagine if we were all the same and we were simply like the worker bees, right? And we just were all the same, and we just all did the same thing day in and day out and day in and day out. Oh wait, maybe that is what people do all the time. Day in and day out. Alright, so we got our first Super Mario, finally. After 5 spinning tops later, we've come to the end, the conclusion. I need to make more of these because I've sold out on them. This last weekend was really awesome. Black Friday at Polite Smoke Shop on San Mateo. You know what's crazy is I let people know exactly where I'm going to be all the time, because I have to let people know when I'm performing or when I'm going to do live demonstrations or where I'm setting up for different markets and all these different things. It is pretty interesting to know that I've done this in all these years. I've had so many people talk crap online and do this and do that, and they've never ever actually shown face. Not trying to call them out. Don't want to deal with that. But I know how to deal with that if the time comes. And you might even get to see it live. This might put them on blast. But yeah, it can get dangerous out there with all that. And, you know, you can have stalkers and all kinds of weirdos. It gets crazy. And then when people know you, man, it gets like even, you know, you just, for me, I just trust in Creator that it don't matter when it's my time, it's my time. And I just know that right now I'm doing the best I can. I'm living a good life and sharing with you guys, and we're chilling, having a good time. And even though it might be a bleak sort of conversation on some of the aspects, you're still chilling. Still enjoying this live glass demonstration. And I don't know, some of you may enjoy what I have to say, and some of you it may piss you off more. And I can't do anything about how people react to certain things that I say and that I do, that I share. All I know is I lost a lot of friends during COVID when I was simply just sharing out the truth that I knew and I understood, and now it's all coming to light. And they're now talking about how all the children, how many children lost their lives. And these are just the ones they're letting you know, guys. There's so many more than the numbers they're giving you. Just like the numbers in Lahaina. So many more. So many more. They can't call it the deadliest fire in U.S. history when the Peshtigo fire was like something like between 1,600 and 2,200 fatalities. They can't deem Lahaina as deadliest unless they know without telling us that those are the numbers we're actually talking about. I've come up with, they said, what, two children in Lahaina? My own personal account, I mean, even with their own, the governor or the mayor, I forget which one specifically, but one of them recollected 2 in the vehicle, and then the family of 5. Or was it 7? So I was like, well, then there's probably like 5 children and 2 adults, or maybe there's like two parents and 2 grandparents, and then some children as well. So I think they had 7. So there's so many. And then the ones that they honored at the graduation ceremony, and they had the 11 chairs empty for those who would have graduated that year, but they lost their lives in the fire. At Lahaina Luna High School. But we're never going to get this sort of information from mainstream media. We have to always understand this. They're going to block it out. They're going to tell you what they want you to know, and that's about it. And then they're going to continue to tell you things to continue to divide and conquer us. So we continuously fight amongst each other and not trying to fight and get the people who are in power and get them out and get the right people in. But what do I know? I'm just a glass blower, and I don't give any sort of legal or monetary advice, financial advice. medical advice. I simply share my world and my experiences. And if it helps you out, then cool. And I hope that this has been a fun little video watching me make Super Mario's. Completely went off topic. But that's what I do here. I just go live for entertainment purposes. And I bring you in. And then I just talk about whatever's unscripted, live, raw, and unplugged. This is what you get here at the Glassman's World. I just share my world and my experiences with you. It's for my entertainment purposes, and if you're entertained, then it's for your entertainment as well. I appreciate you watching. I really do. One of these days I might monetize, but I don't know. I see how, there's some people who get like 20K subscribers, and all they do is like a simple 20-minute video. I don't know if it's daily or weekly, and they're getting their bills paid. There's one guy who said he was able to call the disability. Like I was saying, my wife's disability got counseled, and it's only like it's a certain amount. If she makes any more money, then they're gonna like take it away from her. I'm like, well, that kind of limits you from like ever getting far ahead in the game. I was like, if anything, they're just like restricting you from being able to become more empowered and more like self-reliant and create your own business paradigm and your own financial opportunities and success and things like that. And I find it interesting that a lot of people get stuck in those ways. Because it's a guaranteed paycheck, right? Like they get stuck in jobs too because it's a guaranteed paycheck. They might not really like their job at all. And, they despise going in every morning. They show up a little bit late every day, or just barely trickling in on time, just barely doing half-ass work because they don't even care anymore. They're just getting paid. That's how most people in our society live, paycheck to paycheck, and it's a sad way of living, but it's a way, right? Like it's a living, right? Just following orders, just doing it because you got to pay taxes, just following orders, right? All right, we're gonna add these little eyes on here. Little guy, he's got his little eyes right there, and we put some whites on it. So we need that little stringer. Where's that baby tiny stringer of white here? Oh yeah, the COVIDs. You know about that? Do you you calling it that on purpose? Do you understand? Okay. I don't know if you guys understand, but they let us know everything in plain sight. And a few years ago, they had the Tournament of Roses parade. And I believe it was probably like in maybe it was just last year's actually. Now I'm thinking maybe it was last year's that they were giving us a glimpse on what was going on. And they were gonna, it was the Judge's Choice Award went to this float. It wasn't like the greatest float or anything like that. But it went to them because of the theme, I guess, that they were going to be working on the jabs for HIV and AIDS, and that was going to be the next big thing. But what's interesting is that we knew, and even Japan came out and said that they had found it within the vials, brand new vials that they had opened up, and that they found either HIV or AIDS within it, right? And then we started hearing that there were people who were then being diagnosed after they were getting jabbed, that they were actually getting the autoimmune deficiency syndrome or HIV. Pretty wild. It's like they purposely put it in there, knowing that then there was going to be a new pandemic to come, an epidemic of that, and that they were going to roll out the new jabs for that, and they got the Judges' Choice Awards. So when you're watching these shows, that are out there for the whole public, the whole world to see and watch, you got to really pay attention to the little things that they show us. Like, at the beginning of the at the beginning of Super Bowls, the halftime shows. But I meant to say the beginning of the Olympics. Every 4 years, they do a ritual. And the one, I'm trying to remember, was that the one in, where was it, in Japan? Is that where it was recently? In Korea? China? I don't know, but they had the ritual with the nurses and the needle and this big old black, it looked like the Grim Reaper, and like they had this huge performance to show us what was to come. They put it out there in broad daylight. They print it, they carve it in stone, they hide the truth in fiction and movies and books and online now, all kinds of stuff, in cartoons especially. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed the hexagons that they just keep showing us over and over and over. Hexagon everywhere, hexagon this, hexagon that, in all the cartoons. I don't know if you guys understand the meaning of the hexagon and why it's so important to the scientists, and how it's connected to the Ouroboros, the serpent that eats itself, and how it's basically the same to scientists. The hexagon, hexene. A lot of things going on, guys. And they put it out there for us all to see. They've been showing a lot of movies and stuff that has to do with like the chimeras, the animal-human hybrids coming together, like in what is that called, Sweet Tooth, and a lot of other different ones. What was the one? Was it Eddie Murphy was in it or something? They had the Pixies, and there was a big old. It was like I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's just out there. They put it out there. White Noise. That's an excellent movie to know on future plans and things. They let us know, guys. The Simpsons. Follow the Simpsons. They are like part of allowing us to know through public media. That's one of their tools that they use to get the information, get the message out there to the people on what's going to happen, how things are going to play out. It's why there's so many quote-unquote predictions in Simpsons. There's nothing predicted. It's all planned. It's part of the plan. But these Super Mario mushrooms are cool, huh? Oh, we're way off track. It's alright. It's too much information. And that's why only a few people come in here, because I probably am shadow banned in some way. And not everyone who are subscribed to me gets the notifications. And then there's people who just don't like how I just, I just say it as it is. And they might not like that. But it is what it is, right? It is as it is, so shall it be. As it is. Oh, you're calling it COVID because of the whole censorship. Because we no longer have true freedom of speech and expression. Yeah, I created a hashtag a few years ago. Hashtag FUFB. I don't know how many times I was put into Facebook jail. But FUFB. Anyone can use that hashtag FUFB. We can create one FUYT. Oh, whoa, what did you just say? Scratch that. Whoa, I didn't know what I just said with the letters for YouTube. The Y, the letter Y, and the letter T, when you say them together really quickly, it sounds good at all. Like, oops, did not mean that. It was not my intention at all. It was directed at YouTube on 100%. Not anyone of the Caucasian matter. Matter as in we're all atoms. The matter. Yeah, I don't know how many times I got put into the Facebook jail though. And I'm still, Mr. Fuckerberg came out and he said that there was going to be no more censorship and they were going to allow the truth to be posted and blah, 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 blah. And now I got screenshots upon screenshots. I am no longer able to share anything that has to do with COVIDs on my group that I have in Facebook called Surviving Coronavirus. There's two different groups. I think there's one group and one page. Mine is the one with the grocery store aisle that's been completely emptied out, bare bones, kind of. I think it was a toilet paper aisle because back in the COVID's day, everyone needed to wipe their bums really, really good, apparently. I guess that's how you kept it from spreading. By wiping your bum. And then people were using Clorox bleach wipes on their skin. They don't even read the back of it that says you should use gloves when you're using this product. And people are using it on their skin like they're disinfecting themselves. Like, man, you guys are gross. And poisoning yourselves. It's horrible. You might as well just drink Clorox like Trump said. Man, the silliness that people got away with. Remember? People would wear masks, but then they cut a big old hole out of a mouth hole so then they could like talk or they could chew. They could go out to eat. Remember? Remember? Hey, remember? Remember that one time when we would go out to eat and you have to wear a mask when you're ordering the food, but then you could take the mask off as soon as you sit down. But you got to put it back on if you get up to go to the bathroom. And you put your bum on the same toilet that no one was wearing a mask on their bum, and you're touching your bum to someone else's bum on that same toilet. Bunch of bums all over. COVIDs. Covert operation, more like it. Certificate of Vax Identification. COVID, Certification of Vax Identification. Certification of Vax Identification. Oh, certification of Vax Identification. Oh, the beautiful people, the beautiful people. Rah, rah. I think I need to go to sleep. I think I've been on here for too long. I think I'm going to let you guys go after this crazy one here. Before I get too crazy here. Pepperidge Farm members. Remember when everyone would be like, they'd be swimming in a bubble? They're like in the same pool with the water. Like, you know, the water's getting into every orifice in your body right now. All someone's got to do is just blow a fart. Remember when they said that farts were causing COVID? I don't know if you guys ever heard that one. That one was great. Oh, man. More dangerous than the cow's methane release. It's like we're not going to talk about all the petroleum companies and their releases, but let's talk about the cows releasing methane. Yeah, that's why we're in global warming, geoengineering, climate change, weather modification, manipulation, HARP. Aurora Borealis in the Albuquerque vicinity, my ass. It didn't even look like no Aurora Borealis. It's just like this crazy hue of reds. Like, you guys, we are all a bunch of guinea pigs right now in a huge petri dish called Earth underneath this dome, and they're just testing on us. There's no way out either. Oh, there's one way out. And that's knowing that your soul's eternal and belongs to Creator. And if you basically start serving Creator in many ways, you have a better chance of being able to get to Vrindavan and not have to come back through this horrific cycle of birth and death. We can get away from it. There is a way to get to heaven, Vrindavan. There is a way. But it ain't through social media, I'll tell you what. Man, all that glass was in my way and that didn't get pushed down properly. I hope this one doesn't get messed up because this one is looking so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Please don't be a mistake. It'll still be a beautiful little mistake if it is, though. There's no way. No, that did not just happen. Is there a crack in it? How did that crack? It didn't cool that quick. What? Is it because I accidentally hit it against the tool and I shocked the glass with a cold tool? Man, that's so stupid. Let's see if I can save this thing. Jeez. Well, maybe there is a way. Using the internet. You just always send prayers and blessings out. It's like Prashadam. All right. And we weren't timing these. I don't know. I guess we can go back and see how long these are taking. I do believe they're within 30 minutes, between 20 to 30 minutes easily. I don't think I can get them under 20 minutes yet. But we'll see how soon I can do that. I might be able to pull it off here soon. If I can keep these flowing the way they have been, I might be able to get these under 20 minutes. I don't know what was well said, but thank you. I say a lot of things and I lose track. I have no idea what I was even just talking about a moment ago. Sometimes I wonder if I just like start rambling and I get these inspirations of saying things, and it's kind of like the people who get like the free writing where, you know, they just like start scribbling on the paper and they have no idea what they're coming up with. The next thing you know, they've drawn something that like shows them some sort of insight, or they've written something that's like a message that comes from somewhere else or whatever. You know, people have the clairvoyant kind of things where, you know, maybe they're able to connect with someone else in a different way or something like that. I don't know. I think I find it pretty interesting. I'm going to see if I can smash this down now. I think I got rid of that crack. Let's see if we can get this down a little bit further here. I don't know. I don't know if that mushroom cap has got completely pushed under that clear or not. I think it's like right on the rim, right on the edge there. That I don't know if I got enough clear. It's gonna come out. Dang it. Let's see if I can heat up some of this clear glass up above it, and then allow it to fall down onto itself while holding this and forcing it up. As that's getting forced down, Heck yeah, that's working. Nice. I might have made the mushroom cap a little bit bigger, but I think that worked. Heck yeah. I think I got it. Cool. It's not going to come out to the edge. I can see clear glass all the way around it now. So I think I got it saved. And hopefully I didn't push the eyeballs up too far deep underneath the mushroom cap there. But that was cool. Never tried that technique before. That was the first time. All right, we got this one. So I've made 3 more. I've got a couple on my table here. I can show you guys what we're working on here. So these are the awesome little Super Mario mushrooms. And they're decent size, a good 1.5 inches. They're bigger than my usual pendants. Not too much more bigger, but they are definitely bigger. All right, so now I'm heating up the very thick part where the clear is, and I'm trying to hold it at a 45-degree angle so it's falling downward. So some of that clear glass should gather towards the bottom of this pendant, but it's hard to make the glass flow like that, so it's taking some time. And the eyes are still there, so that looks good. We just got to get this nice and rounded. It looks a little bit bumpy. So I just got to make it to where it just all flows nice and smooth. So that center doesn't look like, it's basically like it looked like it was pregnant, like it was all popping out. But now it's all flowing there, so that looks better. That looks a lot better, nice and smooth, good flow. Too bad I can't keep them glowing like that. That would be so awesome. There's the eyes right there. All right, and then we pull it off. So these I'm asking $50 each on them. However, I did mention that if you mention this video or any of my posts, that you do get a buy one, get one free special until the end of the year on all Gardenia glass. That would include these as well. So if you do the math, it's pretty close to what I'm doing them at wholesale. I don't know anyone else in the world who is making Super Mario mushrooms like this with them inside. Until I see them and a price, I'm gonna just keep my price at $50. So if you want to grab the buy one get one free offer, now's that time. So that's what it looks like when I bend it all the way around, and it's got that bit of a bump on the end right there. So then I got to smash that down. So I'll use my reamer here, it's carbon graphite. So then I basically just smash it down, use the tool up against it. So then it's not a big old bump just sticking out like that. And then I can start melting it on the thin part here and get it to start matching this thicker part. Try not to allow the loop to twist. And if it does, then you just want to make sure you straighten it out. Also, make sure that it's straight before finishing it. So I'm going to just bring it over some. And you can see how much I moved it over in the back. So now I got to straighten that back side. Just push it over a little bit. Something like that. And just melt it down. It's starting to get a little bit thicker already. And we just go in, heat up the whole thing, heating up mostly the thinner spot, but flashing the heat on that thicker part so it all becomes malleable. And then you can go in and make sure that your reamer keeps that hole open. Make sure that's nice and straight. When I look at it right now, I see that it's leaning over this way some, the whole entire thing. I need to move it like this. So we're going to heat up the whole thing underneath the loop, push over that whole piece of glass, and force it to be more centered. And then always do that pulling up at the end there. Just make sure this is all flowing on the back side now that we've moved it over and repositioned it. We'll make sure that's got a nice flowing back to it. Nice and straight. And there you go. So now it's all nice and straight there. The eyes are there. The back. Nice and flowing all the way through, nice and round, a good thick hole, or a thick loop of a good sized hole. I'm going to go in and just open it up slightly. And then we'll just make sure it's nice and straight. Take it off the puntee, and we're calling it a day, guys. I'm probably going to work a little bit longer, but I need to get me something to eat and get ready for my client here in a little bit, which I think I only got about an hour or less, so I'm going to actually call it a day for myself too. I'll get back on the torch later. I'll see you guys later when I jump back on. I'll do a reveal on these ones that we've made today, and then we may also make some green ones that are the one-ups. And I've only made 2 of those so far. I've kept the first one. The second one sold. And so I need to make some green ones as well. But let's take a look here as it's glowing nice and hot. And you can see all the detail in it there. And thank you. You said that's good pricing. I appreciate that. Yeah, the reason why I'm pricing them at $50 is because when I was looking for the regular basic mushrooms that I make, the Amanitas, not the Super Marios, not the ones with the eyes, I found a guy in Canada. And I'm asking everyone who watches, if you can Google someone else, another glass blower, who makes Amanita mushrooms inside the glass, not sculpted, but inside, in a case like this. Let me know who, let me know where, let me know how much. Because I don't have any competition as of right now. I could price my mushrooms up to $60 Canadian compared to the only guy that I've found so far in Canada who makes them. And he makes them a little bit more cartoony looking. They actually look like they have the pulled up cap kind of like this one here a little bit more, and just a little bit more cartoony looking. And they're cute and they're great, but they're $60. And mine, I've been doing them for 20 and two for 30. So, so yeah, I need to figure out a good price on these Super Marios, and I figure if that guy's asking 60 on his regular ones, $50 is still a little bit less than his in Canada for the Super Mario one. So I'm still beating his price in Canada. So I'm still the best pricing in the world. As of right now, I haven't been able to find anyone else. So let me know if you can find someone. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe so you can get more videos like this, so you can watch me later when I do the reveals, and also when we do some more giveaways, Gardenia glass giveaways. All right. Thanks a lot, ANCAP, for coming in. Thank you, True Indica. Appreciate you coming in. And I'm going to head out. You guys have a beautiful day. Love and blessings. I'm out. Time to do some dabs, yo.